Hey guys, my name is Matt Johnson, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my exact settings that I use with my Tascam DR-10L audio recorder to record high quality audio of people speaking. Before we get started, I do recommend that you update your recorder firmware to version 2.0, but don't sweat it, don't feel like you absolutely have to do that. You will still be able to follow along with most of this tutorial. On to the settings. Turn on your recorder, hit the menu button, and up first we have mic gain. You don't need to worry about changing any of your mic gain settings because we're going to be having the DR-10L automatically set the level of its audio in menu section 4. So you can ignore mic gain. Second, we have low cut, and I have this turned on. A low cut filter is going to remove some of the lower frequencies in your audio file, and this can be beneficial, especially if you're dealing with a lot of wind or if you're dealing, say, with clothing rustle. Removing some of those lower end frequencies can result in a cleaner sounding audio file. I leave this turned on, and in my experience, this has not negatively affected my audio quality at all. Third, we have limiter, and I always leave this on because if somebody's speaking quietly and then they start speaking really loudly, that can cause peaking, and the limiter helps prevent peaking from occurring. Fourth, we have auto level, and I always leave this on because this is going to dynamically change the gain levels of your recorder depending on how loud the person is speaking. It keeps them at roughly the same loudness throughout, which is very beneficial. Because we have auto level turned on, you do not need to change your mic gain settings in menu section 1. Fifth, we have FS sample, and you're going to want to set that to 48 kilohertz because most cameras also record audio at 48 kilohertz. By setting your recorder to the same sample rate, you will make syncing audio with your DR-10L very easy and help prevent audio drift. Sixth, we have bit length, and you're going to want to set that to 24-bit. 24-bit is higher quality audio than 16-bit, and I see no reason to use a lower quality audio file. I want as high of quality as possible. Seventh, for file type, you're going to want to set it to mono, and if you're using the stock lav mic that comes with the DR-10L, mono is going to work fine for you. It will still fill the audio of both your left and right channels. Eighth, we have dual record, and I have mine set to -12 decibels. If you do not see -12 decibels and you only see on or off, that is because you have not updated your DR-10L firmware to version 2.0. If you update your firmware, you can now select if you want -6 decibels or -12 decibels for your backup audio track that will record along with your main audio track. I highly recommend having this turned on in the event that your main audio track starts peaking. Having this backup audio track turned on and set to -12 decibels will ensure that you still have a high quality audio track that you can pull from to save your peaked audio. Do keep in mind that having dual recording on essentially doubles your file size because you're recording 2 of every audio file, but if you use the 32 gig SD cards that I recommend, you're still getting something like 30 hours of recording time even with dual recording turned on. So I would not stress about the file size too much. I will link to the SD cards that I recommend down in the description of this video. Ninth, we have MP3 mode, and I have mine set to off. By default, the DR-10L records in a high quality lossless wave format, and that's what you want. You could turn on MP3 mode if you wanted much longer recording times, but the audio is going to be more compressed and you're not going to be able to manipulate it as well as you would if you were editing with the wave file. 10th, we have track inc, which stands for track incrementation, and I usually leave this turned on. What this means is that every 15 minutes or so, your DR-10L is going to save the current audio file that's recording and start recording a new audio file. But the benefit is that in the event that you drop your recorder and the battery falls out, or somebody goes in and pulls out the memory card while it's recording, if you were just recording one long file, you would probably have that file be corrupted. But because you are doing the 15-minute long track incrementation, you would only probably lose the most recent 15-minute track, and all of the other 15-minute tracks beforehand, the majority of your audio, would not be lost. 11th, we have my favorite setting, warn beeps. It's only my favorite because I love the title of it. Warn beeps. What does that mean? Well, warn beeps. If you have this setting turned on and you are recording with your DR-10L and you have headphones plugged into the headphone jack of your recorder, if your recorder starts to run low on battery or it starts to run low on memory card space, it will start beeping at you over your headphones to notify you that it's running low. Of course, whenever I'm using this recorder, I always have it on someone across the room from me, usually at a wedding ceremony, standing up at the front, so I'm not going to be running some long snaking cord up to my headphones, be like, oh yeah, you sound good, great. I'm not going to be doing that. So I leave warn beeps turned off because it's basically useless to me, but if you are in a situation where you're able to monitor your audio being recorded with this thing, wouldn't hurt to turn it on. 12th, we have power save, and I leave this turned on. No, it's not some way to magically extend your battery life, unfortunately, but what it does do is that in the event that your recorder's turned on and it is not recording, after 10 minutes, it will turn off the recorder to save battery. Next, we have 13 and 14, and these two go together. For 13, it's called name type, and if you go into it, you see that you can select word or date. If you select date, then the file names that your DR-10L records will start with the date that they were recorded, a nice way for you to keep track of things. If you select word on the other hand, then the file names that your DR-10L records will start with a custom word that you decide. How do you decide this custom word though? Well, let's go back out and let's go down to 14, file name. And that is where you can select the custom name that will begin at the start of your file. This could be useful if you're wanting to say differentiate between groom or efficient or bride. You could go in and change the file names of the recorders that you're using. So that way you're able to keep track at a glance whenever you're editing, oh, this is my groom audio, this is my efficient audio, etc., etc. For me though, if you go back to 13, I have my name type set to date and I do not worry about a custom file name, but it is a useful feature if you need it. 15 is of course format SD, which you've probably seen if you've ever shot with a camera or used an audio recorder ever. That is how you wipe your memory card. So make sure that you do not do this before you have copied your audio files off of this recorder. Once you have done that and you're sure that they're all backed up, then you can go and format your SD card, but do not do that until you're actually sure that your files are all backed up. 16, we have mic bias. And if you are using the stock lav mic that comes with your DR-10L, you're going to want to make sure that this is turned on, because mic bias turned on is what is going to supply power to your lav mic. If you have a powered lav mic, then you can turn mic bias off, but because I always use the stock lav mics, I always leave mic bias on because I actually want to be able to record audio. 17, bat type, which is not a misspelled way of selecting your favorite actor who played Batman. I will say though that I do love Christopher Nolan, so I'm gonna have to say Christian Bale because I love those movies. Bat type is actually how you select the type of battery that you are using with your recorder. In my case, I select NIMH because I'm using Amazon Basics high capacity rechargeable batteries. I will link to those down in the description if you want to buy the same ones. I love them and they're reasonably priced, which is great. Regardless, make sure that you're selecting the right battery type for the battery that you're using, so that way your DR-10L is able to properly report the battery levels to you, and that way you're not stuck with, I thought it was full, but it's actually dead, no! 18, date and time, which is pretty straightforward. That's where you set the date and time. I do recommend setting this accurately so that way you're not dealing with audio files that your computer thinks were recorded in 1992 and you're like, wait, no, I need this sooner. Yeah, set your date and time right. 19, sysinit, which I'm assuming stands for something like system initialization. This is the setting that you select if you want to reset your DR-10L back to its factory settings. Do not go in and say yes to this unless you want to have to go back in and reprogram all the settings that we just went through. Lastly, number 20, you have version info, which is a great way for you to be able to tell which firmware version your recorder is running. Mine is currently running version 2.0. And that's it. That is how I have my Tascam DR-10L set up, and these are the settings that I've used for the past year or so, and they've been working great. Incidentally, I have a link down in the description of this video to my audio gear kit page, which details all of the audio gear that I use whenever I'm filming a wedding, much more than just the DR-10L. With that, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave one below or get in touch with me through my website, WhoisMatt.com. It is also a huge help to me if you would consider liking this video, giving it a thumbs up, and subscribing if you want to see more videos like this in the future. Thanks and have a great day.